The method of extracting or of interrogating at Kaing's office was documented and remained at the S21 office because Nat himself wanted to control that office and Camera Kaing. When S21 started operating, he took documents, a pile of documents from Kaing's office and asked me to keep. So that document was part of the S21 document, and the way of writing confession was different, but torture did involve. And as for Comrade Duch, his position was unstable. Comrade Duch, he had his high status social class. He reported to the upper echelon about the people he suspected. However, there is no documentary evidence left. There was no confessions from Duch's interrogations. So to sum up with, these two police officers used torture before the establishment of M13. And I believed torture was also used in the offices since the old era of the Israel era.
Judge Laverne, yeah. If I've understood correctly, you indicate that there was documentation
police from the Israel era left in a document that Brother Chackham, who it told me later. As for the police office in Sector 25 of Mr. Kaing, I did not see it personally, but in principle, the name of Nopon alias Sok, the military commander of Sector 25, talked about torture method and the absolute spirit and determination of Mr. Kaing. He told that to me. Let me emphasize that Nopon alias Sok was also a cadre managing myself from the 1965. So he did not hide anything from me. And I was released from Sok Chamran is because of him. So torture was inevitable at the police office of the Khmer Rouge, as well as at the police offices from the Israel era. That was a simple information known by the people and the people in the revolutionary rank.
Judge Laverne, if I've understood correctly, you indicated that you heard about torture methods and that these torture methods were unavoidable, whether it was at the Khmer Rouge, in the Khmer Rouge period, or whether in the Isarak period. Is that what you were telling us?
Alors, dans ces conversations sur la...
Well, in these conversations about torture, what was told to you? What was told to you specifically, precisely?
The accused? What I have known about torture was in general. They said torture was inevitable.
ដឹងជារួមអញ្ចឹង ដូច្នេះទារុណកម្ម
Therefore,
ខ្ញុំឮដំបូងគឺសំដៅការ
I heard about torture. It means beating with the whip
លើរូបរាងកាយ
on the body.
នេះជាសំខាន់ទារុណកម្មដែលខ្ញុំដឹងឮមុននឹង
That is the torture method I heard before I managed the office M13.
Judge Lavergne. And outside of torture, had you heard about executions?
The accused,
រឿងនេះ
regarding this matter,
វាច្បាស់ណាស់
it was clear. It was clear.
ខ្ញុំដឹងច្បាស់
I heard it clearly about the execution.
តែពេលរឿងដោះលែងមានកន្លែងខ្លះ
But about the release, I've heard about some releases at some locations, but there were very few releases.
ពេលរឿងមិនដោះលែងច្រើន
Most were not released.
Judge Lavergne. Most people were released, but who would decide upon their release? And who would decide upon their execution, and why?
មុនខ្ញុំកាន់កាប់បន្ទី
The accused, before I managed Office M13, I did not consider this matter in details on who decided to order for the arrest or who decided to release those people.
ដល់សាច់បញ្ហា
Before we came to the details of the matter, I would like to emphasize that
នៅពេលនោះ
at that time,
យើងប្រើពាក្យថា Kaing
we used the word spy.
អត់ទាន់ប្រើពាក្យ CIA
We did not use the word CIA or any other agents yet. Spy was used, enemy was
ចូល
used.
មកកាន់កាប់កិច្ចការ
When I managed the work
នៅមន្ទីរ13
at M13 office,
ក្រោយពីខ្ញុំបានវកក
after I begged
ធ្វើការងារនេះ
to not to take up the job because I was afraid of being killed.
ក៏តែជាមួយមេ
If the superior betrayed, then I would be killed too.
អ្នកសម្រេចឲ្យចាប់
The one who decided for the arrest was the member of the Central Committee.
មកខ្ញុំជិះ
So from that day onward, I avoid not to be killed. I did not decide on any arrest.
សម្រេចទៅសេ
I did not dare even to write
ឲ្យឃើញ
the report on anything of any attempt to put pressure on this person or that person. That's why the report that I wrote, I rather let the person himself write it.
ហើយអ្នកដែលមានសិទ្ធិ
And the person who had the authority for the release
ក៏មិនមែន
was not me, nor the head of any police office. It has to be decided from the upper echelon.
ខ្ញុំចាប់ផ្ដើមអនុវត្ត
That's what I started to implement at the Office M13.
មជ្ឈិមបក
The arrest was done by the Central Committee at various zones.
ដូចជាវនវេត
For example, Wonwet,
ដូចជាតាមុក
Tamok,
ដូចជាជូជេតហៅស៊ី
Chuchet alias C, Hut Heng alias Pao. For example, they would make the decision.
Judge Lavergne. What was exactly requested from you when they spoke to you about M13? Who told you about M13 and what was asked of you?
He accused
រឿងនេះ
regarding this matter.
ដូចជាការ
It was like a description of the event. On the 20th of July, Chai Kum-her took me to see him. At that night, we did not have any work done with Comrade Vaughan because there were guests, secret guests from Phnom Penh to meet him. And he told me that tomorrow I had to work with Comrade Hock, and that he already told Mr. Comrade Hock about that. On the 21st, next day, Kum Ho told me, as I already told your honors in the morning, that I begged him and what his instruction was, and after that, the party only had the salt and the rice for you. So you had to manage yourself for your living, for example, building a house.
Judge Lavergne, what was the mission of M13? What was the specific mission of M13?
The accused, initially, they gave the spies, it means those poor Cambodian people who came from the Lunar area to the liberated area. For example, Kao Kum Hieng, Kai Bun Hieng, as I informed your honors in the morning, they were arrested there. So they were sent to M13 for interrogation. So initially, they arrested the spies to beat and interrogate and smash. That was what happened to protect the territory, the liberated zones, the people, and to avoid the enemy from capturing the liberated zone, and to prevent the enemy from bombarding the area. So the obligation is to protect the liberated zones, to protect the lives of the people, and that's what was done as duties.
Judge Lavergne. So the mission of M13 was only restricted to interrogation and execution of people who could be deemed to be spies.
The accused that the first task I was offered at M13 was to do that. But later on, there were more matters. For example, first, a female was sent from the children unit to M13. She was accused of stealing an earring. I did not put her to jail because I looked at her and see her status. She belonged to a wealthy family because her husband was a soldier, and this is what I was warned. And we discussed about this. Later on, I asked Chai Kum-ho to release her. And it was successful because with intervention from upper echelon, including Tam Mok. So this was the person in the liberated zone or area. Then it comes to another matter involved people from outside the liberated area, including Mr. Francois Bizot, who was arrested outside that zone, that area. So the situation were more complicated. the knowledge of the M13 was extended according to the circumstances evolved.
Judge Lavergne. So you are telling us that originally M13 was created to fight against spies, to protect the free zone, and that later there were people coming from other zones. And were these people considered as spies? Why were they brought to M13?
The accused. The people that I already informed you was a person from the southwest zone. The female name Sri Melis from Kopmamis village, Omlang, Kampong Spu, from the southwest zone. But the other people, Mr. Francois Bizot and some of his associates, Comrade Lai and Son, from outside. So this matter was complicated, but it was beyond my capacity. It was one weight who fought to seek a further discussion and consultation from the upper echelon. And the matter in the liberated zones also increased. And there were other matters happened in other front areas. But I may wait until when we discuss the matter of the year 1973, when I talk more about this. People were also sent from Kop Srau area. Kop Srau is to the north of Phnom Penh. We had two lines of the front who were confronted one another. One was accusing another, and the people was accused and then sent to M13 to be interrogated. Then I realized later after interrogation that the people had disputes among themselves. That's why I reported to one weight. I told him that they were not enemies. They were having some differences among themselves. After that discussion with one weight, then he allowed me to release these people, but one of them died of malaria before he was released. So this matter also happened in the liberated zone or area itself.
George Lavergne, M13 was established in a free zone or a liberated zone, but in the record of the case, there is reference to a special zone. What was this special zone, and what was it formed of?
Your Honours, says the accused, this is an historical event concerning the CPK in conquering the land, to seize the land, to control, to seize it from Lon Nol's regime. First, there was a southwest zone. Tam Mok disputed, had an argument with the intellectuals. He dismissed 4 intellectuals from the southeast in 24 hours. Then Pol Pot had to come in to intervene And then that later on, people, the special zone was created. So this special zone was recently created before 13, or maybe it may be was created simultaneously with the M13. It was a new zone. There were two sectors in that special zones. Sector 15. To the north of National Road number 4 and to the north of Phnom Penh, there were 4 districts: Ong Snul, Dong Kao, and Ponye Lu district. This sector 15, led by a former party member called Kaing On. To the south of Phnom Penh, it was sector 25, which contained 4 districts, including Saang, Koh Thom, Lek Daik, and Kien Swai. Sector 25, led by a former party member called Nong Seun. These two sectors combined with Phnom Penh, which was led later by this man in the photo he took with me, called Sunnara. Before it was led by Pao Pon, the nephew of Won Wait, but he died. That's why Sunnara took charge. So these sectors, including Phnom Penh, was combined to have another name called Special Zone and led by Won Wait. So this special zone have several offices. We have office 315, which called the zone office. Sorry, 305. So this office led by Ruh Cheto, the intellectual, the former diplomat. So the special zone was a new zone created in 1971, contained 2 sectors, sector 15 and 25.
Donc, la zone.
George Lavergne. So the special zone had 2 sectors, Zone 15 and Zone 25, in addition to Phnom Penh. Is that correct?
Phnom Penh.
That is regions and not zones.
Le secteur 15.
Sectors 15, sector 25, plus the sector around Phnom Penh. Accused. No, Phnom Penh itself. George Lavergne. Please wait, because if you do not wait before you answer, we have interpretation problems.
The special zone, said the accused, contains sector 15, sector 25, and Phnom Penh, with some secret forces who undertaken activities at this zone.
George Lavergne. In this special zone, were there several security centers, or was M13 the security center of the special zone?
The accused. Officially, M13 was the special zone police office. However, the people who were arrested to the north, to the south of Phnom Penh were arrested at Sector 25, which was under the authority of police office of Comrade Kaing. So M13 was in charge of receiving people who were arrested from Sector 15 of the special zone, but Kaing's office in charge of interrogating people who were arrested from Sector 25. I'm very sorry, I may not make it clear myself. I may repeat. M13 was in charge of detaining and interrogating and smashing people who were arrested from Sector 15, but Comrade Kaing's police office was in charge of detaining and smashing people from Sector 25.
George Laverne.
The President. The Chamber would like to adjourn 20 minutes for a break, and then we will resume at 3 o'clock.
Please stand up.
Please be seated, say the greffier. The President, the court is now in session. Just now, Judge Laverne proceeded with questions to the accused. I would like now give the floor to him to continue asking more questions.
Judge Laverne, so I would like to get back to M13 and to the special zone. Who specifically decided on the creation of the special zone? Who within the party decided to create this zone?
The accused. The decision was big. Only Pol Pot who could do so. To prove it that Pol Pot made such a decision, because after knowing that the special zone was established when Tam Mok joined the study session, then when they came back, we learned that the special zone was established. I did not have any evidence, but I only can prove it by this event. Only Pol Pot himself who could make such decision.
Judge Laverne, Were there zone secretaries, and who was in charge of the zone? Who were the individuals in charge of the zone? Were these people who had a specific function? Were they members of specific committees within the party, for example?
The secretary of the special zone committee was Won Wade. Followed by two members, Ching On and Nong Sun. Ching On was the secretary of Sector 15, and Brother Sun was the secretary of Sector 25.
Est-ce que
Judge Lavergne, did Von Vet have other functions within the party?
The accused. Von Wade was the member of the Central Committee, the full-fledged member. But I do not know for sure at that time whether Brother Won was the full-time member already. I was not sure whether Brother Won was the member of the Central Committee.
I was not aware that Von Vet was already a member, a permanent member of the Central Committee, or if he wasn't.
quand avez-vous
When did you learn, then, that he was a member of the Standing Committee?
The accused knew that he was a permanent member of the Standing Committee after 1975. I knew that Brother Won was a permanent member after 1975. It means after I came to manage S21.
Judge Lavergne. So today you are telling us with a certain amount of conviction that up until 1975 you did not know the exact function of Von Vet within the Standing Committee or of the CPK. Is that what you are telling us?
The accused. This matter was not told to me as whether he was a permanent member or not. However, practically, he was already a full right member of the Central Committee.
Judge Lavergne. So you are telling us that in practice you knew that he was a member of the Central Committee, but you did not know that he was a member of the Standing Committee. Is that what you're telling us? Yes. Outside of Von Vet and of the other key people you were speaking about, there were other people who were supervising the M13 center.
The accused, there were two tasks. The party task is every fortnight. I went to attend a meeting. It's a livelihood meeting. It was a self-criticism meeting with the secretaries of the branches. In order to criticize and self-criticize as for the task of the police. No one dared to come and instruct me besides Von Vet. And for the southwest zone, besides Tam Mok and Chu Chet.
Judge Lavergne. Did Son Sen have a specific role at M13?
The accused. In order to clarify the matter, I would like to inform Your Honours about the history of teacher Son Sen. In 1970, teacher Son Sen was a secretary of the Northwest Zone. Northeast Zone. He was a secretary of the Northeast Zone. Later, he came with Pol Pot. And became the co-chairman of Southwest Zone with Koi Thun. My apology, it was the North Zone. So, he moved from Northeast to the Northwest Zone to be the co-chairman of the North Zone.
La zone du Nord, co-président de la zone du Nord.
Together with Koi Thun, and in 1973, in late 1973, he went to the special zone in charge of as a deputy secretary of the special zone, says the accused. In his position as a deputy secretary of the special zone, he managed
តំបន់ពីលើតំបន់15ផង
Sector
ហើយ
15
នឹងគ្រប់គ្រងកម្លាំងសម្ងាត់ក្រុងភ្នំពេញ
and managed the special secret force in Phnom Penh.
សូមបញ្ជាក់ជូនលោកចៅក្រម
I also would like to emphasize that
សូមជូនជាការសង្កេតថា
it is my observation that at that time
ប៉ុល
Pol Pot,
នួនជា
Nuon Chea
ហើយនឹងខៀវសំផន
and Khieu Sampon
មួយ
created a special office, secret office in Chorok Dach village.
មន្ទីរសម្ងាត់មួយនៅ
That special secret office in Chorok Dach village.
នៅភូមិច្រកស្បាច់ឃុំពីម
Piem
កំពង់តឡាច
Sub District, Kampong Trolaj District, Kampong Chnang Province.
សរុបមកសុនសេនគាត់មក
So to sum up,
លេខាភូមិ
Son Sen became the deputy secretary
ពីចុង73
of that zone from late 1973.
នៅពីក្រោយខ្នងគាត់មានប៉ុលពត
And there were Pol Pot behind him in Chorok Dach village.
Judge Lavergne, this special office that you tell us was located in Srak, was it in a special zone or was it outside of the special zone?
The accused. It was in Piem sub-district.
ជាមូលដ្ឋានបង្អែកបដិវត្តន៍
Piem sub-district had been a long revolutionary base.
ជាទីតាំងវានៅក្នុងភូមិ
It was the best in the southwest zone.
ក៏ប៉ុន្តែ
However,
គេប្រកល់មកឲ្យភូមិ
it was given to the special zone to manage since 1970.
សំទោស
My apology from 1971.
Judge Lavergne, what was the link between M13 and this special office, and what was the name of this special office?
The accused. I only heard about the news. I did not know where the secret office was.
ខ្ញុំគន់លើគេខ្សឹបខ្សៀវមួយម៉ាត់មកកអំពី
I only heard people talked about that secret office of Mr. Pol Pot.
ខ្ញុំអត់ដែលបានទៅជន់
I never went
ដីនោះទេ
to that location myself,
ហើយលើតែខ្សឹបខ្សៀវគ្នា
and I only heard whispering about it. It was not official.
ដូច្នេះខ្ញុំនៅឆ្ងាយពីការិយាល័យសម្ងាត់របស់ប៉ុលពតនេះ
Therefore, I was very far away from that secret office of Pol Pot. My superior, who I went to contact with only, was Son Sen.
ខ
Judge Lavergne. Where specifically was M13 located? What is the specific location, of its units or of its units, if there were several units depending on the center?
The accused M13 there was M13A under my direct supervision and M13B where my deputy managed.